Hey guys, what's going on? Dylan here from fabricationguy.com, and today we're going to do a full breakdown of the cordless 3/8 ratchets from Milwaukee. I'm going to tell you guys which one's the one you're going to want to get. So the one you're going to want to get is the 2557-20. I'll have a link in the video description to this specific one on Amazon if you guys are interested. I'll have links to all of these, but this is the one you're going to want to get. I'll put this one first, the 2557-20. So why do you want to get this one over the non-brushless version? Well, the 2557-20 is the fuel version, which means it's brushless. It has 55 foot-pounds of torque. It comes in at about 10 3/4 inches, 10.87, and 2.43 pounds. Now, the non-brushless version only has 35 foot-pounds of torque, comes in at 10 3/4, and is 1.9 pounds. The difference between these, there's a couple things that really sets them apart and makes the 2557-20 worth the extra $50 on getting it. One of the things is the heads of the ratchet. If you look at the heads of these ratchets, you can see they're dramatically different. The fuel version is built very, very heavy duty compared to the brushed version of this ratchet. And I have heard multiple guys talk about the smaller head and having issues with them in the long run. I have not had a single person have an issue with the larger style head on the fuel versions. So that in itself, I think, is worth the extra $50. But when you also compare the torque ratings, 20 extra foot-pounds of torque on these ratchets goes a long way. I know it doesn't sound like a lot because when we're talking about, these big half-inch impacts and they're, 1,100 foot-pounds of torque, 1,400 foot-pounds of torque, 20 sounds like a drop in the bucket. But with these ratchets, that 20 foot-pounds goes a long way. If you're not familiar with these ratchets, when you put them on a bolt and you press that button, if the bolt is torqued too tight and the ratchet itself can't break it loose, the ratchet will actually stop and it'll turn off. And the reason it does this, if you guys are familiar with like the old air ratchets, they used to like pin your hand, like it would turn the whole ratchet and you would hit your knuckles or pin your hand against something. These ones are specifically made to not do that. But what you'll find is when you're using the brushed version, you'll find that this happens significantly more. A lot of the bolts that you hit, it just doesn't have the balls to break the bolt. And so you'll be having to use the manual ratchet feature to break a lot more bolts. So when you multiply that times 100, 500, whatever, however many bolts you're breaking with this thing, the amount of time saving is pretty huge with that extra 20 foot-pounds of torque, and you'll be surprised how far that goes. Weight difference between the two, I think it doesn't matter. It's not enough. It's not a big enough difference to really make a difference. I will say that these Milwaukee ratchets versus the Snap-on, they're not as well balanced. And I was watching some other videos of people on YouTube, and they were talking about the same thing. They do feel a little bit front heavy, even with the batteries on. However, I think that's just kind of the nature of the tool, and it's really not that big of a deal. So the 2557-20 is definitely worth the extra money for the power, the durability. You're going to have a lot more battery life out of these things versus the brushed versions. It's just a better tool, and it's definitely worth the upgrade. Now, the 2560-20 is still a great ratchet. It's pretty much exactly the same as this, but it has that extended head on it. The reason I'm not recommending this is if you're just buying one ratchet, the 2557-20 is the one you want to go with, because I'd say 90% of the time, this is going to be the correct ratchet for the job. This is kind of more special application. Don't get me wrong, it really comes in handy for certain things, but 99% of the time, I would say this is going to be the one that you're going to be grabbing. So if you're just buying one, get the 2557-20. The last thing I want to talk about is batteries. There's two types of batteries that come in the M12 system, which is what these ratchets belong to. You have the small form factor batteries and the large form factor. Definitely invest in the smaller form factor batteries for these ratchets. They do come in 3 amp hours, so it's not like they're really low capacity. They do come in 3 amp hour, and you can get a lot of usage out of one single 3 amp hour battery. For me, most of the time when I'm using these, I don't even change batteries. The one battery is plenty. But this contours to the shape of the tool, and it doesn't obstruct your vision. As soon as you get these bigger batteries, the tool all of a sudden becomes kind of awkward because you have this big block on the end of it. And if you're in tight areas, it kind of blocks your vision, and it's just kind of a pain. So if you're going to go with these ratchets, I recommend investing in the 3.0 small form factor batteries for the M12. And I'll have links to these in the video description as well. So I hope this video helps you guys out. definitely go with the 2557-20. It's worth the extra money and the investment. You're going to be super happy with them because these things are awesome, and you're going to wonder how you ever lived without them, just like most of the Milwaukee tools. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and we'll catch you guys in the next one. Have a great day.